All right, Saagar, what is on your radar?
Well, we await with bated breath the results of the Iowa caucuses, but the one thing that we do know is that whoever won this caucus, whether it's Bernie Sanders, whether it's Pete Buttigieg, got completely robbed of the media coverage that they deserve. There is no worth to Iowa intrinsically. It only has like 56 delegates out of the 1,200 that you need to win the Democratic nomination. The only reason that it's even a thing is that Jimmy Carter in 1976 realized that if by going there you could create a media bump, and hence we have the hellish system that we are right now. And yet, we don't know who won. What's tonight, ladies and gentlemen? It's the State of the Union address, which means the entire political press will be focused on that tonight. The President of the United States is speaking. Tomorrow, we'll have the post-State of the Union panels. Even if the results of the Iowa caucuses come out Tuesday afternoon, we're talking about a 3 to 4 hour window when it should have been on the front page of every newspaper in this country. Now, broadly, this shows you that the media cannot do two different things at the same time. Just to give you an example, we have this graphic of what coverage has looked like in the lead up to the Iowa caucuses. Look how dramatically impeachment affected the coverage of Iowa coming into this. We're talking about literally 1/8 the amount of coverage that there was in 2016 ahead of this election cycle. Granted, there wasn't a sitting president running at the time, but even in the ones before that, you saw that there was a due given to that primary caucus that impeachment has just robbed many of the candidates of. And unfortunately, that's what's going to happen today, because on Wednesday, what's going to happen? The acquittal vote for Donald Trump. That's going to be the news cycle all the way up into New Hampshire, which means that Joe Biden has been completely saved by this process. All indications currently show that Joe Biden massively underperformed his polls. According to some preliminary data released by the Bernie Sanders campaign, again, just preliminary data, it shows that Biden may, in some 40% of the precincts reporting, may have come just 12 points in the final alignment. That's only 1% higher than Amy Klobuchar in a distant and pathetic fourth place. But the Bernie Sanders campaign and the Pete Buttigieg campaign, whoever won, is not able to highlight this fact and drive it home to the many people who support the former vice president and may buy into his veneer of electability. The Real Clear Politics polling average currently has Biden at second place in the state of New Hampshire, and he deserves to be a distant fourth or fifth given the results of what happened. And after that, it's very clear that Biden's campaign is not going to let these results go untested. And all of that is because of the sheer and utter incompetence of the Iowa Democratic Party. They had 4 years to get their act together. There's been absolutely no transparency whenever it comes to this app and what the problems were, and they haven't even told the campaigns what was going on. Imagine all of the volunteers and all of the people who literally moved to Iowa, spent money and time phone banking. It's essentially been a waste. Is that all of this, the entire benefit of focusing on this state is just for that media bump, and that no longer exists. And Crystal, that's one thing I'm really thinking about is I'm sure, the political junkies who watch this show, a lot of them probably took time out of their day in order to phone bank for Iowa. I know some of the fans of the show are literally in Iowa. They're tagging me, sending me stuff from on the ground. I feel terrible for them. Can you imagine taking time out of your day, time off of work, paid vacation, just to go to Iowa because you believed in something, and you get robbed? And now everybody's in New Hampshire, and the dynamics of the race. Look, I know you think that this has been generally still good for Sanders, and that's possible.
Yeah.
But I just think that we deserve a finality and a result that the Iowa Democratic Party has not resolved. And as I said before earlier in the show, only Donald Trump benefits from this. And I think that the media, the lack of coverage they're going to give to the winner, the lack of coverage they gave to this caucus from the very beginning, all of it is just a complete and disgusting mess.
I think you are 100% right. And Biden is the one who gets the most cover from this because, look, I was on CNN this morning. I was like, this wasn't good for Biden, guys. And they have to. I don't blame them. They're like, look, we don't know anything.
Right.
We do know something because we see the results that, that the Sanders team put out. We see the exit
even the
polls.
Buttigieg team, they put out the same thing.
The Buttigieg, we see the caucus sites on the ground that we covered last night where he's not meeting the viability threshold. And most tellingly, we see his own team's posture of being like, well, the process may not,
rigged.
We've got concerns. They won't say rigged, but that's basically the implication. And then they're also saying, but we're more worried about Nevada and South Carolina. You can tell very clearly they do not feel like they did well. And so the fact that that is not a major media narrative that people can really dissect today is definitely a gift to the Biden campaign. However, we have been wondering here, and people across the country have been wondering, and Joe Biden's donors have been wondering, if his resilience in the polls was real when you compare that to the complete manifest lack of any kind of energy on the ground. And last night's results, when we finally get them, will show that he has been revealed as not having this strong base of support that the polls seem to be indicating.
Yeah.
What did Joe Biden need to get out of last night? Money.
He did.
And donors are not going to look at this result and, media narrative or whatever aside, they are not going to look at this result and say, here's the guy that I need to send my cash to, especially with Bloomberg waiting in the wings with his billions of dollars that you don't have to send any money to or worry about. He's there as the establishment alternative. So yes, it is a minor gift for Joe Biden, but I still think that the ultimate conclusion stands that he has been revealed. His campaign is in bad shape. And after New Hampshire, I think we will all see that very, very clearly.
The one thing I will say is Joe Biden is now in the fight for his political life in New Hampshire. He should be handicapped to the point, after the real results of last night are made clear, he shouldn't even be in the fight. It should be clear that he's not there. And the fact that he even has still a fighting chance in New Hampshire is a disservice to every other candidate that is fighting in that state, because they invested the real time and got real energy in the state of Iowa, and they have been robbed of that chance.
Indeed.
All right. I'm looking forward to your radar next, Crystal.